exciting conversation, guys, for you guys that are students of the breed. Um, you know, when I talk to students of the breed, I guess I'm talking to dog owners that want to know about the breed and the process, the wonderful process that it took so many years for myself to create these dogs. If you go back to the times of Grand Champion Yellow, his grandfather that came from the Red Boy dogs. People don't know where Red Boy really came from. When it came to Honey Bunch, people don't even know if she came from Bully's son. I doubt it. I'm not trying to put any stain on those guys, Red Boy or Honey Bunch, but there's a lot of things. When he goes back to Tombstone, who really was a file Tombstone, and so there's always up to that time, which is maybe about 20 years before I got into the dogs, maybe 25 to 30 years before I got into the dogs. From that point going back, there was activity in the dogs, but at that point it became, to certain of those bloodlines, it became a little shady. And I didn't want to focus myself in what was shady, but I want to make sure that going forward, everything was going to be clear. It was going to be clear for me. I was going to understand what I'm doing. And one quality that I always had, it was observation. That was something that, I don't have the same, desire that everybody has to have a community. And although I'm a leader when it comes to different things, and I'm a leader of my bloodline, but I understood that, having conversations, having dialogues will be a dangerous thing for me. I wanted to keep myself away from listening to what anybody else say about the dogs, and it was simple. It was my dog Bruno Boy. My dog Bruno Boy showed me that if these guys here that got these dogs with the bloodlines, with everything they know, they couldn't win over Bruno Boy. There was a lot of room for improvement, and I didn't want to be at their level, but I wanted to breed at a higher than Bruno Boy level. And I wanted to have dogs that I can breed, and I wanted to have everything. I wanted everything. That's another thing about it, is I wanted everything. I wanted the consistency, and I knew that I needed to have the consistency. And I understood from drag racing. A lot of people know this. I mentioned drag racing. When I started in drag racing, I was a little younger, and I started in drag racing. I dropped drag racing for the dogs, but for the first 3-4 years, I still had the drag racing and the dogs and everything. But I had a racing team that we had a street car, and we ended up buying a Lenco transmission and an OV2000, a full chrome molly chassis, 2 pair of shoes, big tire car. I made it a street car into that. And I realized by the time first time I went to the track, I realized that I had done things the wrong way. And it was because I had some advice from people that were never being at the level. So I understood very clearly at that point that having advice from people that never been at that level, it would have been a huge mistake. And I wanted to go at a level that nobody ever done in the dogs. So for me to listen to those guys that never been at the level, it would have been a disaster. So I didn't want to listen to none of these guys, because I had questions and they wouldn't have no answers, and I didn't want to get confused. So I didn't want to hang around with guys. I didn't want to listen to what they were saying. I found some of the things to be in level to the racing cars. This guy's a street guy, So how much a street guy knows about science, how much a street guy knows about technology. And technology and science it is still very a strong part of how I became who I became as a breeder. And so I started to apply a lot of observation, a lot of study, a lot of research. The word that we need to talk about is the research. I did a tremendous amount of research, a lot of research looking and then trying to understand, but I didn't research like the pedigrees in the back and so on and so forth. The concept of pedigree was so enchanting because at one point and through the years, 10, 15 years later, I was thinking like, Bruno Boy didn't have a pedigree, and now everything is about a pedigree and stuff like that. And I understood that I couldn't give value to the pedigrees. That it was more valuable because a lot of these grand champions, they were almost not grand champions. And a lot of these champions were like cheesy. I had to understand that there was a pedestrian level. that there was a cheesy level, there were snipers, there were gamblers in the dogs, and there were title racers that wanted to race a title, then they'd sell the dog. So there's a lot of people involved because it's a swamp. And so for me to have something clear, something clean, something beautiful, I needed to have a structure, and I didn't have to have the influence by these guys. Nothing at all. I remember when Bruno Awesome Buck won his first one, there was this guy that, is involved in Texas, at least involved. There's these three grand champions that have like 4 owners that claim them, but he's one of them. And the guy's a pimp, so it kind of gives you an idea. It's a pimp. The swamp, imagine this, the guy's a pimp, supposed to be a top dog man. And this pimp comes, he's there, he said, listen, I got everything you got to do. I never saw a dog condition like this. You're doing great things, but I got everything that you need to do to make this dog grand champion. I got everybody you got to go into, going to make a lot of money. And I said, I'm not interested on that. Just like that, I said, I'm not interested on that. I didn't come to Texas because I wanted to be a sniper. I wanted to be real to myself first, real to my dogs first. And so Awesome Buck went hunting bears, dragons, and lions. And this is the same guy that was a referee for Macho Buck's Off the Chain show. So I guess he really pointed him in the direction to go into a blue dog, a white dog, and have a real cheesy, fake grand championship. And so, but I wasn't interested because long run that was going to hurt me. It would have been a short benefit among the swamp, but I was not going. Didn't do this to please the swamp, and I wanted to make Awesome Buck a great dog. And to the time, Awesome Buck produced all the global grand champions, 2 and 1 liter, 2 global champions, 3 dogs of the year, 1 liter. Macho Buck never produced any of that stuff, never. He just completely a zero compared to him. They are cousins, but produce 0. And so, with honesty to myself more than anybody else, it was great for me to go forward and keep doing the research. So I had to research human nature, human thinking, and I had to research dog thinking, a lot of dog thinking, how the dogs think. It was very important to me how they think as puppies, how they think as an adult, how they think after certain events, and how they behave. And I was looking for clues, I was looking for things. So a lot of research has been at the center, and curiosity, because curiosity is what drives me, that curiosity and the challenge and everything else. But that was one thing that separated me from everybody else. And then the numbers just started piling up. It started making these beautiful things for what I call the breed. Is my dogs. I don't call the breed what everybody else done. If I have gone where they never gone, if I have done what they never dared to do, if I created so much separation for superiority, if I did this, that, and if I have all these merits and they don't have them, so we're not the same, we're different. And so I don't want to call, like we're on the same path. We're not on the same path. We don't think the same, we don't behave the same. I had a guy that called me, he said, man, Chico, you're putting a choke on the breed. I said, what do you mean? He said, because you call it the swamp, and now everybody calls it the swamp. Everybody has this negative thing about the swamp. It's a swamp. And I said, it's in the swamp. Yeah, I know, bro, but we don't want to call it that. It's cooler if we call it the game. I said, no, game is gone. It's the swamp is here. And so we have different objectives. My objective is to teach young people, because times change, the laws change, the rules change, everything change. And if we would keep doing what they were doing before, it'll be stupid. We'll get worse results. Take a look at the XLs, the double X, the Giants, all this BS happen with these fools are messing around with the swamp. Now, I want to educate people. I want people to know the truth. The XL is not a real American Pitbull Terrier. The double X, the Giant, all these dogs they got in England, in America, all those are mutts. I want people to say, I learned from Chico Lopez the truth. And I want to elevate them to know what the truth is, have curiosity. And hopefully, while I'm alive, even when I'm not alive, those people can become better dog owners and have a clear understanding of what greatness. You know how sad it will be for someone to be in a breed and never touch greatness. Sad. Someone, I had these guys that used to be long time ago, decades ago in the swamp, and they became entrepreneurs. They bought a gas station, and after a gas station, they got into hotels, and now they're multimillionaires. They got a McLaren, 1 McLaren, 2 McLarens, Ferraris, what's his name of the other car? Lamborghinis and wagons from Mercedes-Benz and everything, and they have children, and they want these children to have a great experiences. Man, it's so different with you, Chico. So different with you. So different. And they start talking about how nasty was the swamp and how they got out of the swamp. So I'm getting contacts by guys that are like, man, Chico, you know, I have a family. I got out of the dogs because the swamp. So, you know, we want the best humans. We want the guy that owns the Labrador to learn about the real American Pitbull Terrier. I'm not going to celebrate mediocrity. I'm not going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya and we together on this. We're not. We're simply not. You do your thing, I do my thing. Here, we want zero dog fighting. We want zero breeders. I'm the only one that breeds because I earned the right. I know how to do it. And it's not about like you having dogs having sex. That's not make you a breeder. You have no idea what it takes to be a breeder. And so with time, I will keep releasing information so people can learn what a real breeder is, what a real dogman is. A dogman is a title that's earned. Now you got all these fools. Oh, I'm a dogman. No, you're not a dogman. You've never been a dogman. And the guy that told you that you were a dogman, he says he's a dogman. He's not a dogman either. He's just maybe some dog fighter, some guy with, you know, messing around with dogs. Maybe a good dog fancier. I never care about the stories about this dog versus that dog and fantasy shows between this dog and that dog. I don't care. The only thing I audit was the failures of those guys. You know, breeding all these dogs that they were not quality dogs to breed. Breeding those men biters and making a party about them. I mean, how dumb you are if you know the dog is a man biter. So you had no intentions of seeing this dog as a pet, never in your life. When the best pets make the best dogs. And if you ever want to think about that, just take a look at me. I make the best dogs. So there's conversations on all kinds of places where people are like, man, we really trust Chico Lopez. Chico Lopez is doing the right thing for the breed. He's saving the breed. And that's what I'm doing. I'm saving the breed. My dogs is the breed. And for other people, the dogs they have, oh, but that guy is a nice guy. I said, nice guys don't count. Winners are the ones that count. The one that won. Oh, no, but this guy being on the dog for a long time, participating doesn't matter until you win. So don't confuse activity with results. You know, a bricklayer with 30 years experience, which is a 1 year experience and 29-year repetition, does not become an architect. You know, there's always, you got to have continuous improvement, continuous growing. I said, man, you sound so different than everybody else. You know, well, that's what it is. This is how I'm wired this way. This is the mind of Chico Lopez. And I will have my people, my guys that love their dogs. And they are doctors, lawyers, engineers. And some of them are just families, regular families that the father wants to have a great dog for the family, for the daughter, for their children. But no breeders. You know, I denied a lot of breeders this week. Guys that they're breeding Frenchies and bullies and these micro mutts, and they're like, yeah, but you don't want to have one like yours so I can give it to my children. I say, I think your children deserve that, but what you're doing with the other dogs is not good for me because I can't trust you. And if I can trust you, I cannot do business with you. Trust is the foundation of everything I do. And so I wanted to give you these words. Research has been in the center of my development, this development process of understanding, a very scientific process. You know, the way I created mechanic buck, man, the way I created a toss, you know, all the components, all the different, you know, the dog was dead in collected in 1994 and 93, and I used it on a female that came from a dog that died in 2004, and I used it in 2006, and then I came back, I used it in 2012, and then by 2014, a toss comes alive. Poor planning, vision, things that you will not get from a common guy. You don't get this from a mediocre guy. You understand? And yes, I'm going to make some people uncomfortable. I'm going to make the bottom feeders uncomfortable, of course. But that's byproduct. I want to have the great guys. If you're one of those great guys, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, whatever, okay? We want the best people in the breed. My name is Chico Lopez. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.